Welcome to the System Simplified podcast, where we feature top leaders who share stories on how to successfully systemize a business. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, Adi Klevit here, the host of the System Simplified podcast, where I feature top founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders about systematizing a business. And today's episode is being brought to you by Business Success Consulting Group, where we create, document, optimize, and implement processes and procedures so businesses can grow and thrive. And today's guest is Nate Woodbury. Hi, Nate.
Hello, good to be here.
Yes, good to have you. We're going to have an exciting conversation about lead generation via YouTube. And let me first of all read your bio so our listeners know what you have done for businesses and why we are speaking today. So you are the CEO of Be the Hero Studios. Love the name. Awesome. And you're a renowned producer of over 60 successful YouTube channels, specializing in helping coaches and speakers transform their expertise into thriving platforms of thought leadership. But we're going to talk about businesses in general, lead generation and YouTube, and how does that apply? Because obviously we want all of our listeners to benefit. And you have a proven technical strategy to dominate YouTube search. You consistently delivered measurable results, turning subscribers into high-quality leads. Who doesn't want that, right? We hear a lot about YouTube and what we can do and how we can create videos and do this and do that and get subscribers. And we're going to talk about it today, which is very exciting. And you are backed by a dedicated team of 35 experts. You offer a comprehensive done-it-for-you system, making YouTube lead generation seamless and predictable for your clients. So welcome to the show. Great to have you here. As you know, we are a done-it-for-you service for creating processes and procedures for businesses. So we are all about processes and procedures. So we're going to talk about today the process of generating leads and what have you discovered and how can you replicate it. And that's, the reason why you're so successful is because you are able to replicate it with each and every client. So we're going to have a great conversation, but let's start with telling us a little bit about yourself and how did you become that, the CEO of the Hero Studio, Be the Hero Studios, and a YouTube guru?
Yeah, well, I've always been a big fan of systems, and that's what's led to my success. I remember reading the book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and caught the vision and saw, and that's how my brain works. I see things visually on, like the pathway to take to get somewhere. And so when I started my company 15 years ago, the first service I offered was custom website design. And I built a system around it. I created a 4-step system of, let's find out what our clients want the website to look like. So have them give us some sample websites. And then we'll create a template, and then we'll build that into a working website. Then we'll put in the content. And I hired people to run each of those different steps. How I got into YouTube is I found ways of getting my clients' websites ranked at the top of Google and wanted their websites to make sales. And so we started getting into video. And I made this discovery one day. This is probably going back 11, 12 years ago. I was looking at our data. There was a website or a web page we had ranking #1 on Google. And there was a YouTube video on that page as part of the work we did to get that page ranked. But I noticed that the video over on YouTube was getting 50 times more views than the web page ranking #1 on Google. And I love results. And so I started focusing on that. I checked it and found it repeated all over the place. And so that was the best way that I found of getting results, even more so than web design and website SEO. So I pivoted my business, and I've had that YouTube focus for over 11 years now. And it's worked really, really well for businesses to take YouTube and add an additional 7 figures of revenue to their business. It's not an overnight thing, but for businesses that have built momentum, it's like, hey, you follow this strategy for a year and it's worked extremely well.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about the strategy. What comprises that strategy?
Well, search engines have gotten way better and way easier for us to use. If you hear search engine or SEO or keyword research, it might bring up some painful memories because website SEO of the past was pretty difficult. It took a lot of time and sometimes it didn't even work. The good news is you don't have to worry about any of that. Search engine optimization today is actually really, really simple. Google has changed as well. Google used to be a website search engine. Now it's a content search engine. And YouTube's also a content search engine. It's the #1 content platform, in my opinion. So here's what we do. When we go to Google or YouTube and we're searching for something, we've gotten a lot better in being more specific on what we're searching for. In the past, you would type in 1 word, 2 word, maybe 3 words, and hope that we're going to find what we look for. But today, think about ChatGPT. We can go in there and give it a couple paragraphs. The more details we provide, the better result the output will be. And so on search engines today, it's very, very common for people to type in a question that's 8 words long or 9 or 10 words long. And that is a huge advantage to us. So anyone that has an expertise and they want to teach on YouTube, well, now we don't just make content about, let's see, I think I want to talk about this today. We can research and we can find those questions. All that data that these search engines have, you can use a keyword research tool and you can find these questions that are 8, 9, or 10 words long. And there's a lot of them and they have consistent search volume every month. So imagine
that's brilliant.
this.
So basically what you were saying is that, like, right now I'm building an AI tool where I will put it on my website and people have questions about processes and procedures and they want to know. So let's say I take all of that, and I know like what questions they ask. Like, for instance, how can I get started on this project? So let's say I'm making it up, but let's say that's the question that they ask. You have ways to know that. Then you will come to me and say, Adi, we can get this one to rank high because you're going to talk about something that people are already looking at right here, right now, not what they looked for 6 months ago, but this is what people are interested now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I know we're just talking audio here, but I'll tell you of an example. So a client of mine, he is actually a politician coach. So he helps people run their campaigns, teaching them how to do that, how to win elections. Well, if you go to YouTube right now and you type in become politician, just a 2-word search, you find him. He's dominating that space. Well, we didn't start with that 2-word search. Some of the videos that he ranks for is how to start a career in politics. That's a 7-word question. Or let's say I don't have a lot, but we found all the questions about running for mayor and running for city council and how to get people to donate to your campaign. We just found all these specific questions, and the more of those that he answers, the more and more authority he has, to where now he completely is dominating that space.
Hey, that's amazing. So what effect does that have on his business?
Oh, it becomes the key source of all leads. Another client, Jason Schroeder, he's in the construction industry. He's had a very successful business. Before I started working with him, he had a 7-figure consulting firm. But now he says, Nate, we have more business than we can handle, and it's all because of YouTube. So that's a good problem to have. He needs to perhaps find a way to scale it more, or maybe he just likes being completely full. So
he needs processes and procedures.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's definitely it's a way to do it. It's a way to be out there because people are looking on YouTube. Do you find that business owners and entrepreneurs, when they want an answer, they will go to YouTube to find the answer about business, not about, obviously, like I'm looking at myself, I go to YouTube frequently when I have questions about different areas of life, also about software, about advice. I find myself also using ChatGPT more and more, Perplexity or Claude or whatever AI tool I'm using. How do the AI tools, how does that affect the searching YouTube?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So I'll first talk about YouTube and Google, and then I'll tie in some AI that is pretty fun too. Because Google owns YouTube, they work hand in hand. And if you find one of these questions that your audience is asking, and you make that video, you put it on YouTube, you don't have to do anything, but it will already start to show up in Google search as well. So that's really cool. And so we're actually finding that both the Google search engine and YouTube is working for our benefit. Now here's where it's kind of fun to see AI come into play. So I haven't, obviously there's nothing that I know of where you can do, AI optimization, or like how can I get, right? These are tools that we're just beginning to learn how to use in the last few years. Well, I had a conversation maybe about a month ago, and she said, I was asking her how she found me, and she said, well, I was actually doing some research on Daryl Leaves. He's another guy in the YouTube space. He helps channels that are more for entertainment and generating ad revenue. He helped Mr. Beast grow his channel. So she said, I had some questions. I was asking Perplexity about Daryl Leaves. And as I was learning about that strategy and whatever query she put in there, the AI recommended learning about Nate Woodbury. That's me. And so she'd never heard of me before, but the AI caused her to go down the path. She found my YouTube channel and reached out. And so it's like, well, that's pretty cool so as we create content, where does AI get their information from, right? It's the content that's available online. So, and I've obviously made a lot of content, and I talk about the difference between my strategy and Daryl Leaf's strategy. So I'm sure that the AI picked that up, and it was a good fit of an answer to what that person was searching for.
That's brilliant. Here's the question that I'm sure you're being asked a lot. How can I make my videos go viral?
So it is a question that is being asked a lot, and this is probably going to be surprising to you. I don't want my videos to go viral. Now, emotionally I do, but it's logically that I don't. Now, here's why. There are exceptions to that. I like to market. I talk about the difference between marketing and nurturing. And marketing, my definition of marketing is getting your videos in front of new people who've never heard of you before. So viral does count for that, but I'll kind of explain what I mean. But most of the time when we say, yeah, I'm doing social media marketing, we're actually more nurturing. Like if we post something to Facebook, it's going to be seen by our friends. So these people already know who we are. Or if we send an email out to our email subscribers, they already know who we are. So we're nurturing, and nurturing is very important. Even if we think about Mr. Beast, he's got, approaching 400 million subscribers. When he posts a video, it's his subscribers that are going to see that. If he gets 100 million views, it's because a percentage of his subscribers have seen that. So it's totally a nurturing strategy. He's not creating content to market to people who've never heard of him before. Okay, so with that understanding of the difference between marketing and nurturing, how can we market? And I'll combine it or wrap it down into 3 ways. So we can do paid advertising. Okay, we can pay. We can have something go viral. And viral means people are sharing it, and it's actually going in front of people who've never heard of us before. Or we can focus on search. So if you compare the viral, it's typically the sensational things that go viral that people are sharing because it's really funny, it's really entertaining. And so when you're trying to leverage YouTube for lead generation, if a video goes viral, it's cool, it's exciting, but it doesn't necessarily turn into any leads. I mean, I've had videos that have gotten millions and millions of views that don't generate a single lead, and yet I've had a video get 100 views and generate 10 leads because it was.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, it's what is it that you want to do? Do you want the fame or do you want the leads? Absolutely, that makes total sense. Now, do you feel that there are different, like how knowledgeable the person has to be in the subject matter that they're talking about in order for this strategy to actually work?
Well, I'll talk about it from 2 different angles. So if you have a business built around your expertise, and I'll make something up. Let's say,
Let's take my business, for instance. Okay, so we document and create and processes and procedures and make sure they're followed by all. So I'm
yeah,
interested to find out about that.
yeah. So because you obviously have a lot of experience in that space, you have expertise. When people are asking questions about systems and documenting and plans and procedures, you know that inside and out. You're the best person to answer those questions, right? As opposed to me. I mean, I've read the book E-Myth Revisited, and I've implemented systems in my own business, but I haven't helped other businesses do that. So you have way more expertise in that. So if you were to make a video answering a specific question on, let's say, plans and procedures, you'd have a lot of steps that you could recommend. You'd have examples of ways of doing this and people that have done that. So that content's going to be really valuable for the person asking that. If I were to make that video, I could do that. I could make a video and talk about what I've learned, the benefits of me implementing it. But is that person then going to see me as somebody that they want to hire to help them with their plans and procedures? No, I'm just giving them good advice. But so the more you can align what your expertise is and how that relates to the business that you have, the service that you offer, and then on the other end, align that with the questions, because you can look at the whole tree of business systems, and there's all these different branches on that tree. You'll look at, well, those are some good questions. I could answer those, but that's not necessarily my target audience. But then you find another branch that's like, ooh, wow, this is a perfect fit. I know all these really well, inside and out. I breathe these and eat these every single day. And I know that these people would really benefit from my services. And so you can hone in and know what topics that you're going to focus on YouTube. And so it becomes a perfect match.
Good. How much preparation does the subject matter expert that is going to talk about in YouTube needs to allot? How much time do you need to allot in order to do that? So let's say I go, okay, Nate, I would like to do that. Like, how much time do I need to actually use to invest on a regular basis in order to accomplish that?
Well, I love efficiency. And typically when we do a day of filming, we'll film 20 episodes in a single day. Now, we launch, depending on what our goals are, we might only launch one episode per week, or very commonly we'll have channels where we're launching 5 episodes a week. So if we film 20 in a day, if we're launching one episode a week, we've gotten 5 months worth of YouTube content created, which is awesome. Or even if we're launching 5 episodes a week, I call that daily. We can be a daily YouTuber, but still only filming 1 day per month. Now, to prepare for that filming day, you obviously have to have your life of experience. So that takes a lot of time to have experience. But the actual, preparation for that filming day, I don't want you to script your videos. I don't want you to use a teleprompter. One of the biggest reasons against those things is they take so much time, especially for me. I'm a perfectionist. I love words and I like to use the right words. When I'm writing a script, if I'm going to prepare an outline or a script for a 10-minute video, it's probably going to take me an hour or more likely 2 hours just to script that one video. So if I'm going to prepare 20 of those, that's going to be 20 or 40 hours of scripting, which that's a lot of time. But on the other hand, if I want the video to be conversational and I want to just outline my talking points, and so when I research and I find one of these questions that somebody's asking, I think, well, here's what I'd recommend. You want to pay attention to this. There's these 3 steps you want to follow, and here's a story that I can share that will really help illustrate this. It's going to be a very valuable 10-minute conversation that really, preparation, it took me just 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, depending on the topic, to outline it. I always separate these two, like the preparation, the outlining, and the filming day. I make sure that there's space in between. My clients, in fact, I have them submit their outlines a week in advance, because that's the mentally taxing part, is just getting those ideas of creativity, like how do I want to answer this question? So you get those down onto paper or your computer, and then a day of filming 20 episodes in a day, it's 9 to 5. It's a full marathon of filming.
And you film it in a professional studio then?
Well, yeah. So where I'm at right now, I'm not filming in my home. This is my Utah filming house, and I have another filming house in Florida. So my clients will either come to one or two locations. We don't use a commercial space that looks like a studio or looks corporate or whatnot, because we want these videos to really build a relationship and feel like you've been invited into our home. Anyway, that's how we do it. And before I had this filming house, I would rent an Airbnb. So sometimes when I talk to clients that want to do their own filming, I'll make that recommendation. I'll say, so you don't have any distractions, so that you can be committed and keep yourself accountable, rent an Airbnb and have that be your filming studio. Hire a videographer to meet you there that day, and plan on filming 9 to 5. It's kind of a good kind of forced discipline to make sure you're going to film 20 episodes a day and be that efficient.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you recommend doing it. I mean, you see a lot of YouTubers that can do it like in their home studio, filming like we are filming right now, but you are recommending actually to have professional filming done.
I do. Now, it's not necessarily, you can start where you're at. Start with what's realistic. You've got an amazing camera on your phone right now. So, on the desk in front of you or in your purse or your pocket, we've all got this amazing camera. And if you think like, this is just a fun example. So let's say somebody went to Google or YouTube and they had a question about acting. They wanted to improve their acting ability. And what if they found a video from Harrison Ford, who just filmed a selfie video, and he's like, "Hey, it's me, Harrison. I'm here in my home. I want to answer this question about how to improve acting." And for 10 minutes, we're like, "Wow, he invited us in his home. This is helpful stuff. We're learning from, a master actor." So even in that case, right? If the quality of the content or the value of what you're sharing, that's the most important thing. Even if it were just a selfie video, right? But when I film myself, so I live in Utah. I live 8 minutes from where I am right now, but oftentimes I've booked my team in Florida for 2 days of filming, because I'm like, I just got to get a lot done. If I won't do it if I'm a DIY kind of one-man band. I know how to set up all the camera and the lighting, but I end up like filming 5 of them, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going to film more tomorrow. But if I'm like, I need to get a lot done, I'm going to buy a plane ticket. I'm going to book my team in Florida, schedule them for the 2 days, and I'll go out there and I'll do 40 episodes over the 2 days. That's the only way that I can even do it, and I know how to do this stuff really well. So
that makes sense, and you know what works. What's the ideal length of a video, in your opinion?
Yeah, so this might be a surprise, but I recommend 10 to 12 minutes. The reason I say that might be a surprise is, we hear that, attention spans have gotten shorter and shorter, and so we need to focus on creating YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Instagram Reels. Well, those platforms definitely trend towards short, and there's some types of entertaining content. We need it really, really quick. But what's interesting to notice is when YouTube separated shorts from videos actually have been trending longer. We've talked about Mr. Beast. 3 years ago, if you look at the average length of one of his episodes and compare that to the average length today they're about double the length. So people's attention spans haven't gotten any shorter. It's probably it's situation specific, I think. If you're wanting your videos to go viral and focus on views, shorts can be a good way to go. But when you're wanting to generate leads, like we've been talking about, you need a lot more time than a short to really build that relationship of trust. And not only do you want them to watch one episode, but the more episodes of yours they watch, the better your conversation is going to be when you finally talk to them. So I found the sweet spot to be 10 to 12 minutes per episode.
Nice. Okay, well, that's definitely a lot of information here. And do you also promote the video afterwards? Like, how do you make sure that it actually gets to the people that it needs to get to?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. A lot of people think that because in the past, when we would do website SEO, you would create your website or create some type of content, and then do SEO to it, like you would do some type of link building or article marketing or stuff like that. Well, the reason I say it's so much easier today is the SEO work is actually before you film your video. So we do this keyword research, we find the branch that we want to dominate, we find these leaf titles or these really specific questions. I use this tree analogy, so that's why I say leaf and tree and branch. But we find all these specific questions, and now we have our strategy mapped out. We know what questions we're going to answer because these videos are going to have a built-in audience now, people that are searching for it, and we know how we're going to dominate that branch. So that's the hard work. We then film those videos, we put them on YouTube, and we don't touch them. We don't have to do anything to promote it, and it will show up at the top of YouTube. We'll then show up in Google search as well, and I guess now we're going to be showing up in AI tools. So yeah, no promotion needed.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Nate, that has been a fantastic conversation. It's fascinating. You definitely master this area and you know what you're talking about. So if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Well, I do a webinar every week or two, and I show you examples. I take you behind the scenes and show you the tools that I use, and I teach the 5 ingredients to my leaf strategy. And so if listeners want to attend that webinar, that would be my recommendation. They can go to theleafstrategy.com, theleafstrategy.com.
Theleafstrategy.com. Amazing. Absolutely. So check it out. And Nate, thank you so much for being a guest on this podcast. That has been a fantastic conversation. And I learned a lot. I'm sure our listeners did as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the System Simplified podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.